Good afternoon, Flosstube. It's Lori of MischievousStitches. I want to welcome all of you to my channel today as I have a short tutorial for you. A few videos back, I let you all know about a fun weekend I had with my friend Kylie. She come down and spent a few days with me, and we stitched, we laughed, but most of all, we made project pouches. Our creative juices were flowing, and not only did we make the bags, but we also used grommets, tassels, and snaps. That's not something I typically make. As you can see here on the left, I use a tutorial from Vanna Pfeiffer, and I make the project envelopes. Now, Vanna is the twisted stitcher. I took her ideas, just kind of modified the size of the bag to match my own, but on this particular weekend I'm referring to, Kylie and I also put on, as you can see with this one, we put on a tassel, we put on snaps, and I also installed a grommet to attach the tassel. So today I'm going to show you those three things. I'm going to show you how we made the tassels, as well as installed the snaps and the grommet that we attached the tassel to. So I have a couple of bags here. One of them I've already marked. I have the tassel ready, but I don't have the snaps. So I did go ahead and pre-mark where right here and here where I want to install the snaps. And I also have a couple of tassels. There's a tassel that's made. There's a tassel that's made here, but I have a couple that I haven't made. So we're going to start with those. So just in preparation for the video, I just have some quilter's thread. I've already loaded up a needle right here, if I can pick it up. I loaded up a needle with some thread, and I've also already put some knots at the end. Now I've got it really long, probably about 2 long arm lengths, so that I can show you how to make the tassel, and then I'm going to keep it threaded because I have a second one I have to make after the video. So to do with the tassel, there's nothing, it's very easy. As you can see here, I have, we're going to be making a tassel for this bag. Hold on just a second. Okay, we're going to be making a tassel for this bag, and I lined it with a yellow fabric. And what I did on this one was I took the remnants, like right here, you can see this is the selvage side of the fabric. This is the inside fabric of the envelope. This is the outside. I threw in some coordinating colored ribbon that I had there. I have a silver, there's a grayish, there's a blue, and here's just a shiny silver color. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take them and show you how to make the tassel. So you can use any of your scraps. You don't have to have anything special. You can use what you have on hand. And you can see, like I said, they're very scrappy. So just take them, find your center. I'm trying to find, I had already cut a piece for the, there it is, right there. Okay. So you don't have to be specific. Just kind of take your lengths, kind of spread them out, fold them over a finger like this. You can play with it a little bit, get it like you want. Okay, I'm going to start there, and I'm going to take a spare piece of the ribbon and just tie it down the center. Like that. I'm going to cinch it tight. This is essentially making the top of your tassel. You can get more involved with this, with making the tassel. I'm just not going to spend a lot of time. I'm being really scrappy with mine. I'm going to wrap that tassel around a couple more times to secure the top. And I'm going to tie another 2 knots. So I started by wrapping the ribbon once, tying it, wrapping it around 2 times. This is my second wrap. 1 knot 2 knots, and that's going to be what we put through the grommet to tie it on. And you see, again, it's very scrappy. You could stop there if you want to, but I'm going to kind of push down those sides. You see there? Push down those sides, and I'm going to take my needle, I've already got a knot in it, and I'm going to go through. So you see, this is my ribbon where I tied it. I'm going to comb those ribbons around that tie, and I'm going to pierce. I'm trying to look at it from around the camera and keep it in the camera, so if I go out of vision, I apologize. But I'm going to pierce those ribbons. I'm going to pull it through. Like I said, I've got a really long thread. You can see that. We're going to come back and cut that off. I made 2 knots. But in the meantime, I'm just going to wrap it. Now you could use a ribbon here. You could use a coordinating thread. And again, I'm out of the vision of the camera. I'm looking at behind the camera, the tassel. So I hope I keep it in. I'm going to continue to wrap that until I have it where I want, and then I'm going to pierce it a few more times. That was one piercing. And it may go a little faster if you're not filming a video. Now, Kylie actually made the first couple before she went home that day, and I kind of played with what little knowledge I had with tassel making, and this is just how I did it. I can't tell you exactly how Kylie made hers, but I did take her idea. Okay, so I'm going to go through 1 or 2 more times with the piercing. Okay, and then on 1, 2, go around. And of course, you're making a loop as you're going around. So I'm going to pierce. And I'm going to go through that loop, the thread. Go around another couple times, pierce. Now the last one I made, this is where I took a charm. You can take charms, you can take beads, but I took a charm with the year on it and installed that on the other one that I did. I'm not going to do that here. So I've pierced it once, put my thread through the loop. You can see it's getting a little difficult to get that through, and I went around again, pulling it through, went through the loop again to pull that, keep that thread in place. And now I'm going to push it through one more time and cut it off. All right. So this was my tail end where I got started with, and again I had 2 knots spaced apart, so it's going to hold. So that was my starting thread, and this was my ending thread. And let me put this needle to the side, out of the way, because I'm going to use it again after the video's over. And so this is the tassel. You can see here that my ends are a little, of course, they're scrappy. So I'm just going to kind of comb them down. And this is where, if you wanted, you can kind of snip them at an angle. Even them up. That's what you'd like to do. Just got a random thread. With these fabric pieces as well, if I had, say, a 2-inch piece or a 2-inch piece of fabric, what I did to get that look is I just cut at one end and then just completed I took the 2-inch piece, and on one end I just cut in the center of that 2-inch piece and then pulled it apart and ripped it all the way down to give that look there. So that is our tassel. So now we're going to move on. I'm going to throw these kind of out of the way for a moment. And what I'm going to use next is we're going to use the crocodile. I think I'm saying that right. Crocodile. It's a paper crafting tool. Mine comes in a case like this, and it has lots of grommets. Different colors, different shades. For this piece, I'm going to use silver. I've already pulled one out of there, right there. And this is actually the crocodile. So this is where we will insert the grommet to clip it into the fabric. And then here and here are two different size holes for punching. We're going to use this one, which is the larger of the two. So I'm going to open this envelope up. I'm not going to touch my lid at all. I'm going to insert one right here. That's where we're going to put our grommet. So I'm just going to, this particular project envelope is what I call it. It is not very thick. It's just the 2 layers of fabric. Say this part is the 2 layers of fabric plus a thin 110 pellon. So the thickness is very thin. So here you got 2 pieces of pellon, 4 layers of fabric, because you had the inner and outer part of the envelope. So again, you have 2 sizes of hole punch. I'm going to use the larger of the 2, and I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to put it here on the edge. I'm going to squeeze. You can see it's push that up right there. I'm just going to give it a couple more squeeze and slowly pull it out. You can see it cut the fabric. It didn't cut it all the way. It cut it all the way through, but it leaves a few hairs, I'm going to say. I'm going to snip those off. Let's take a look at the back. Back looks fine. Now I'm going to grab my grommet. I'm going to take that grommet and I'm going to place it into that hole we just made with the crocodile. Sorry about that. And then I'm going to use the crocodile. You see here you have a divot, or what I would call the male side of the crimp, and then you have the female side. So we're going to put the male side into the top of the grommet. And again, I'm trying to work around the camera, so bear with me. I've got to be able to keep this in my sight. Okay, the male side is into the top of that grommet, and I'm just going to squeeze. And so what happens when I squeeze to press that grommet through, it takes the other side of that grommet and spreads it to the back. And now we're just going to take our tassel that we just made, and we're going to feed it through that hole. And again, I'm not being any kind of fancy. I'm sure others have better ideas or ways that it could be installed. This is just, I think I was out of the camera. I'm just going to take, there's the grommet we just inserted into the bag. I'm going to take one of my tail ends of my ribbon from my tassel, and this is the tail end that we started with. This is the tail end that we secured the top of the tassel with. I'm just going to do just a simple knot to secure it. There you go. There's our tassel that we made together. And then I'm going to flip it over. I already have the snaps installed on this. We're going to snap it closed on both sides. And let's see what we've got when we're done. And that's what we just made. So just a few minutes. I think the time reader on this is 14 minutes. So within 14 minutes, we've installed a tassel with a grommet on the bag. It probably won't even take you that amount of time to both choose your fabric, your ribbons, make your tassel, and install them. So let's jump over to the next bag that is unfinished, and we're going to put in the snaps. So I've already marked, and I don't do anything special with the marking. I'm going to show you how I did it. I just took my OmniGrid ruler. It is a 18-inch ruler, so 1.5 feet. And it has a hole here for you to hang it if you'd like. I just took it, I marked it up at 3 on the edge of my flap and the edge of the bag, and I put a dot there. Can you see the dot? Let's see. Put a dot right there. Did the same on the other side. I lined it up 3 inches in and put a dot here. So now we're going to install those. Sorry, give me just a second. I got out the tools but didn't get out the snaps. So I bought a kit a couple of months ago for installing snaps on things. Got some ideas that's turning in my head and I wanted to use these. The kit that I ordered come with this. This is a crimping tool. It come with a small screwdriver. It come with this awl and then a replacement for this if needed. It also came with a case of snaps. I will say, I watched this tutorial on Primrose Cottage, like I said, about a month and a half ago, and absolutely loved the tutorial and went out and got some for me because I could see the different things I would use these snaps for. Here is the bag. We've already marked where we want to put it. It's a little bit different than with the crocodile. Using the tools that I showed you, I'm going to pull out that green awl. I'm going to go through where I marked, but I'm going to put my hand in the back because I'm going to punch through just enough that it goes through this flap on the envelope, but also pierces and leaves a hole on the second portion of the envelope, so it doesn't go through the back. So you can see here, I can see where it pierced through, so we're going to push this all through. So you've got a visible hole, and then the other one on the other side, it's right there. We're going to do that again over here. We're going to pierce it all the way through. Make sure that hole is visible. There you go. I also went ahead and chose my color for this one, and I'm going to choose the light purple. You have the pointy parts that look like tacks. That's going to be your outside portion. That's what you're going to see. And I pressed this down on the table. I made a few things last night using this, and it made my fingers sore because I had just cut my nails, and my nails are very short. And then it's back to this. That's my outside. So there I go. You can poke them out. There's also two other types of snaps as well. So here I have the male and the female. The male pokes up and out. The female is in. So on the outside here, I'm going to, let me go down a little bit. I'm going to put the male side, press it down on this. So it's essentially, without the fabric being there, you're just putting these two pieces together with the male part poking up. So I'm going to do that again on this side. And then I'm going to take my crimper. You're going to put that piece right in there. So the bottom, which is this part, is the smooth, even part, is the bottom. And I'm just going to crimp. Try to center. Oh, I didn't have it in this view. Sorry about that. We're going to catch it on the other one. So I just crimped. Let's go back to this side. I'm going to say it again. So this is the bottom, and that part's going to go here in this black portion. It's smooth. The male portion, we want to center it in the center of this piece here. And all we're going to do is squeeze. And what it's going to do when I squeeze, see the portion of this tack piece that looks like a tack? It's poking up through the center of that male piece. That's what we're crimping. That's what we're pushing. That pushes and flattens that. And pushes it down. See there? and that's what holds that in place. Now this is a little more difficult, but it is doable. I'm taking those tack pieces and I'm going to insert them. I'm using my forefinger to press, and I'm going to find that hole that we made. I'm pushing my fingernails down around it. You can see where it's poking through. And I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. I'm going to fill it with my finger, kind of guide myself where this needs to point through. And I can feel that I've got it there. And then using my short fingernails, I'm going to poke it through. Sorry about that. There you go, so it's poking through there. And then I'm going to grab my female piece, and she's being very elusive. I can't find, there's one. There they are. These are a little bit easier to press down for me than the male parts because, like I said, my fingernails are short, but I'm going to take just the tip of my thumb and forefinger, index finger, press down. You can hear it crimping. And then over here, just come loose. I didn't press it through hard enough. There we go. And then again, I'm going to press it down like that. Then I'm going to reach in with the tool. And again, you're using the feel of your fingers. I've got it centered, and I'm going to crimp. So that one's installed. See where it pressed that tack part down in the center? Here's what it looks like before. This thing is a little squeaky, but I don't care if it's squeaky if it does its job, and it does very well. Okay, again, I've got it centered. I'm going to press. And there you go. There's the difference. Now let's check the placement and how it looks. Let's snap those snaps together. Woo-wee, look at that. Looks wonderful. So there's my short tutorial. If you have any questions, just drop those questions below in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them. I hope that this was easy to follow and that it leads you to making some incredible things. Get creative. See you soon. Bye-bye.